The first actual gathering of the Unitarian Universalist Fellowship of the town is underway.
Welcome, everyone, to our first Unitarian Universalist service. We do not have any hymnals yet, but I found some poems we can read to you instead as we proceed. Here is the first one. All that you touch you change. All that you change changes you. The only lasting truth is change. God is change. Octavia Butler, Parable of the Sower. Let us light our chalice now. It's actually a large candle, but it will do until we get an actual chalice later. And here is another poem, written by Molly Brewer. My beloved people, I cannot pretend, and so I will not tell you, that everything is okay right now. That there is no reason to be angry, that you must be optimistic or at peace. I cannot pretend these things, and so I won't tell them to you. But now our chalice is lit, and so all I ask in this moment is that we remember the words of Rebecca Parker, there is a love. There is a love holding us. There is a love holding all. By the light of our chalice, let us rest in this love. All water is one water by Mel Hoover and Rose Eddington. Water unites us. All water is one water, shape-shifting as it goes on in its unending cycle. The stream we gather by unites us with all the waters of the world, for all of life depends on water. That's why this common, everyday element on which our very lives depend is sacred. In our thankfulness for water, let us remember to honor, cherish, and care for it, for our own lives, for all life touched by water, and for those who come after us.
This is an official statement of the UU condemning violence against Asian Americans. The Unitarian Universalist Association joins leaders across the country in decrying the recent surge of hate crimes against Asians and Asian Americans. In this last year, violence and verbal harassment targeting this community have been exacerbated by anti-Asian rhetoric and blame. We call on federal, state, and local governments at every level to send the clear message that such actions will not be tolerated. We are in solidarity with victims, survivors, and families who have suffered loss and pain. This country has a shameful history of racist acts towards the Asian community. It includes the Chinese Exclusion Act of 1882 and the U.S. incarceration of approximately 120,000 Japanese Americans during the Second World War. Long-standing racist tropes about Asians as other are deeply embedded in the national consciousness. These stereotypes fuel current discrimination, and we all need to reflect on how they can subtly shape unconscious bias or even outright hatred and violence. This recent rise in anti-Asian violence has been incited in large measure by the xenophobic rhetoric and misinformation about the coronavirus pandemic that was spread by the previous president. In contrast, it was gratifying to hear President Biden declare in his recent speech, "It's wrong, it's un-American, and it must stop." We know these acts of violence are rooted in the same white supremacy and hate that takes the lives of Black, Indigenous, and Latinx people. White supremacy culture works hard to pit marginalized communities against each other to prevent the formation of powerful coalitions. We must condemn media narratives that cast this as a Black versus Asian issue. We need to affirm the interconnectedness of Black and Asian communities and all people who are against hatred, and recognize that this discrimination was born of the extremism that hurts us all.
Thank you, Lucy. Before we continue, are there any questions from visitors here?
Yes. Are there any special rituals or declarations that one must make to become a Unitarian Universalist? I remember being baptized when I was 7 years old.
That seems awfully young to make a commitment to a religion, Jason. It is common knowledge that children cannot consent to anything before. Debbie, please don't be rude.
No, Mrs. Smith, it's all right. Debbie is actually right. I got baptized because that's what I was expected to do in a Baptist family. It is only now that I feel like I am making actual choices about religion.
Since this is a fellowship without a church building, we can forego any special rituals for admitting new members at this time. For now, all are welcome and should not be treated as outsiders.
There was a knocking on the door, and when it was answered,
I am surprised to see you here. Shouldn't you be at your own church? I guess you didn't hear, but I had an argument with Mrs. Smith last month that really opened my eyes. Before I got to know any of you, I had all sorts of assumptions about atheists, LGBT people, Christians like myself, and even the Bible that I had never questioned before. I actually looked up Numbers 31 and read that chapter all the way through. It was sickening to look at. I was indeed never taught such passages as a child, and if I had been, I doubt I'd be so committed to my religion. There was a reason why the Catholic Church for over 1,000 years never allowed the Bible to be translated from Latin to the languages of the common people. That's how scammers operate. Truth should never be hidden, but shown for all to see. If the Christian leaders in the Middle Ages really thought of the Bible as God's infallible word, why hide it from the people? Everything you have said so far is true, but how can I be expected now to just give up what has defined my life for so long? We don't expect any such thing from you. All we ask is that you learn to tolerate people who are different from you, just as you would expect us to tolerate your Christianity. It was never about you being a Christian, but about using your religion as an excuse to be bigoted. That should be ended, forever. And on that note, let us extinguish our chalice and end the service. We can discuss more later over lunch. Debbie, can you recite the closing words? We close with this affirmation of hope by Loretta Williams. We, bearers of the dream, affirm that a new vision of hope is emerging. We pledge to work for that community in which justice will be actively present. We affirm that there is struggle yet ahead. Yet we know that in the struggle is the hope for the future. We affirm that we are co-creators of the future, not passive pawns. And we stand united in affirmation of our hope and vision of a just and inclusive society. We affirm the unity of all persons. We affirm brotherhood and sisterhood that allows us to touch upon each other's humanity. We affirm a unity that opens our eyes, ears, and hearts to see the different but common forms of oppression, suffering, and pain. Yet we are one in the image of God, and we celebrate our hopes for human unity. Within ourselves and within the gathered community, we will discover the strength not to hide in indifference. Affirming that hope, publicly expressed, energizes and enables us to move forward. Together we pledge action to transcend barriers, be they racial, political, economic, social, or religious. We pledge to make our tomorrows become our todays.
Thank you so much. I have learned so much this morning. I will definitely be returning for more. Later, during the lunch period.
I'd like to make you an offer. If you agree to drop the lawsuit against my school, I promise that in the future I won't discriminate against Carrie or Debbie. I consulted a lawyer and he confirmed that my actions against them were actually improper and thus the school district would lose money. Please allow Carrie to attend the school again. Carrie, what do you think? I think it would be better for you to stay connected with most of your peers. Homeschooling for you is only an option of last resort. I will trust your judgment here. Even if I do face hostility at the school, I can endure it. I told you that running away doesn't help and I meant it. Very well. Miss Jenkins, you have yourself a deal. Keep your word to us and there will be harmony between us from now on.
And now the story is complete. We hope you enjoyed it.